Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists, and on today we have another Altergeist list in the run-up to YCS London, so potentially this could be a very big indicator of the hype building around this more control deck as we move into the new format and the newly developed ban list. So this was from the Leeds WCQ. This is a top 8 list from Owen, who took this list post-ban list and showed off just what it can do. We have the usual lineup of the 10 Altergeist monsters, 5 non-imperm hand traps from Ash and Ghost Spell, the 3 imperms to follow that up. For the draw spells, double duality and triple extravagance. Like Ollie Newton's list, we see the super polys in the main deck, the usual lineup of the 3 traps, double crackdown, 1 order. The imperms already mentioned, the triple spoofing is a must-have, triple judgment, triple strike, and 1 solemn warning here for this main deck. For the extra deck, there's a Diplex of Chimera. This is really interesting. So it allows you to fuse off any 2 Cyberse monsters, which means you can use it in the Salamangrite matchup, but you can also use it in the Marincess matchup as well, so that's pretty interesting. Double Dragostapelia, 1 Violet Chimera, and double Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Then we've also got 1 Dingirsu in here, because if you steal a Galatea with Crackdown, you can of course turn that into a Dingirsu and massively plus from there. Triple Hextia, 1 Boros Sword, 1 Phoenix, double Linkuriboh, and 1 Amirage. So this is sort of following the trend that we've seen of UK players not worrying too much about the extravagance stopping their Milliseek Surge, with just the 3 targets there for that one. For the side deck, double Lancia, double Pank, double Nibiru, 1 Mystic Mine, 1 Secret Village, triple Evenly, triple Imperial Iron Wall, this is pretty interesting, and the 1 Metaverse. So Iron Wall allows you to gain advantage in a lot of the games where, you know, other decks would sort of build it up through banishing via the Orcust effects or the Thunder effects. And also people try and blow you out with Evenly in this matchup as well. So it has a lot of application against various matchups or just for protecting yourself, so that's pretty nice too. And the Metaverse here acts as a double floodgate, so essentially you have 3 floodgates if you put in these 2 and the Metaverse alongside them. So that's it for the deck itself. Let's take a quick look at the siding strategy and then we'll go on to the rounds. So Owen has said that there's not really a sort of set siding strategy in terms of cards that he takes out. It would vary very much between deck to deck and depending on what his opponent showed to him. But side-ins for going first are things like the Iron Walls, the Lanciers, and the Metaverse, and Mine and Secret Village. And the side-outs would be the side-ins when going second would be the Pancratops, the Evenlies, and Nibiru's. Interestingly, he hasn't really talked about bringing in the Iron Walls or Lanciers when going second. You can sort of expect that Thunder would be fine without having to worry too much about the Lancia, and that the Orcust decks would be able to just sort of play through it by siding into Called by the Grave. We've seen that used quite a lot recently. For the rounds that he played, it was a 7-round event. Round 1 he went up against Mech Knights and had a 1-1 draw. In game 1 he set a lot of back row, which gave the opponent a lot of columns, so essentially they win from there. In game 2, Owen didn't commit to the board really, so he was pretty strong from that point. And then in game 3 there was only a minute left on time, so they ended in the draw there. Round 2 against Hero, a swift 2-0 here, no comments on that one. Round 3 against Harpies, this is pretty interesting. 2-0 here. The opponent's main plan was really to just make Utopia double, but there are loads of ways to stop attacks, so there was no way that that was going to go through anyway. Round 4 against Pendulum Magician, a 2-0. This is pretty interesting because it is a strange matchup, you know, going up against a combo deck for this deck when they can side in so many outs, but your traps are so good, Judgment and Strike and Warning all really, really strong in this matchup. Round 5 against the Dracopals, an 0-2 here. The opponent had Searchable Judgment, which was really strong and stopped him from setting up, and then in game 2 they had a mid-round deck check, after which, unfortunately, Owen bricked. Round 6 against going second Orcust went 2-0. The opponent made him go first. He ended on Marionetta 5 back row and Faker, which is quite a lot of stuff. And then in game 2 he just had the Iron Wall, so that was a free win from there. Round 7 against Draco Striker. The final round was a 2-1 here, winning game 1, losing game 2 as he opened 3 evenly matched, and then in game 3 opened Metaverse, so was able to just sit on that and then win the game from there, because the opponent, when he eventually outed it, was so far behind in this particular state, so Owen could just win out from that position. I asked him how the event was. He said it went really well, and he was prepared for most of the decks that he thought he would go against. As for why he decided to play Altergeist, he says that he decided to play it because he thought that the most represented deck would be Thunder, but he didn't even go against the deck at all. The deck, however, has really good matchups across the board. He also feels like he knows exactly what he needs to do in order to basically be dug with the deck. The hardest and easiest matchups, the easiest he says would be Thunder, as he feels like the Altergeist deck has so many easy outs to the boards that they make, and it really isn't affected by Colossus. The hardest matchups would be things like Draco and Draco Striker, as they have loads of back row destruction, and they can push ahead an advantage much faster than this Altergeist list can actually recur into advantage. Compared to other lists, he said it's pretty standard. The major thing is sort of the side deck with the Mystic Mine and Metaverse alongside the Iron Wall. And then he thinks that his choices of side deck were really good because they help against a lot of the matchups that you face. They just allow you to win the game, like Mystic Mine and the loop with Melee Seek and Spoofing, and Iron Wall not allowing Orcas to play is really, really strong. As for changes, he thinks that after the event he would probably cut Borosword from the extra because it never came up. It just isn't needed in the deck in his opinion, and it will probably be replaced with something like Prime Banshee. As for upcoming sets, he says he's not really sure that there's anything from them that's going to have a big impact on this deck as it is at the moment. And for shoutouts, he would like to shout out his team, the Imperial Order, all the guys in the team, Lewis, Matt, Cam, Elsius, Kian, and everyone else who didn't come to the Leeds event, for all the amazing support, and an extra shout out to Elsius for coming second, his locals, Infinity Comics, for a place to test and an amazing place to play and socialise. As for additional comments, he says he's really happy with how he did at the event, after just missing out on topping Manaflux the weekend before, where he previously came 9th, so he feels really good getting this top, securing his spot after being so close last time, and it's really great to see everyone again before London, and to see what decks we will be expecting as we move into the YCS event. So thanks very much for coming on and sharing your list, Owen, and all of your insights on this. What do you guys think about Altergeist? Is it going to be a big choice for the upcoming YCS in London? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Would you take this list? Would you make any changes? And I'll see you guys at the event.